Read the passage and answer the questions that follow. Dan Morgan had been excited about this field trip since his first week of school. His class would visit the Space Center in November. The day had finally arrived. It was a cool, crisp fall day, a perfect day for a class trip. While visiting the Space Center, Dan found the perfect gift for his mom at the gift shop. He reached for his wallet. It was gone. There was $50 in that wallet. He started to panic. Dan decided to retrace his steps. He searched the food court. Nothing. He searched the boys' restroom. Nothing. His heart raced. He'd worked a month as a paperboy to earn that much money. What would he do? Then he heard the announcement. Dan Morgan, please come to the office. Dan rushed in, and there was his wallet. He wondered how they knew it was his. Then he saw the label his mom had put on it. "Thank you, Mom," whispered Dan. He returned to the tour with his classmates. Dan was now calm. Later that afternoon, Dan left the Space Center with a gift for his mother secure under his arm. His wallet was tucked safely back in his jeans pocket. Number 1. When Dan whispers, "Thank you, Mom," what does this reveal about Dan? A. Dan loves his mother for what she had done. B. Dan was afraid to go home without the $50. C. Dan was happy he found his $50. Or D. Dan had appreciation for what his mom did. Number 2. Which statement indicates that Dan's attitude had changed? A. Then he heard the announcement, "Dan Morgan, please come to the office." B. Dan rushed in and saw his wallet. C. Then he saw the label his mom had put on it. D. "Thank you, Mom," whispered Dan. Read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. From How Becky Gazzara Learned Golf by Gary Soto. Donna Carmen Maria reached for one of the clubs in the bag. She said it was like a sword. She poked at the air and laughed to herself. Becky didn't smile. She was hot, thirsty, and uneasy with the old woman, who again started to play with the mole on her throat. But Becky's parents had always taught her to respect elders, and she had to respect Donna Carmen Maria because, if not, Becky feared the old woman would walk down the street and report her incivility. Becky could see herself grounded until she was old as Donna Carmen Maria herself. Number 3. What is revealed about Becky Gazzara by the passage? A. Becky respected Donna Carmen Maria. B. Becky feared Donna Carmen Maria. C. Becky didn't like Donna Carmen Maria. D. Becky appreciated Donna Carmen Maria. Read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. The searing heat to come by and carry it away. Life in the 3-story house on Firewheel Drive seemed remarkably boring. Table set for breakfast, the kids running up and down the stairs, grabbing books and papers and other assorted essentials to stuff in their backpacks. As Lucy came down the stairs with a granola bar in one hand and her bag in the other, she spotted Eleanor, her older sister, putting on her shoes. "Elle, what do you think she'll be like?" "I don't know, Lucy. I just hope everyone likes her so she'll stay," replied Eleanor. "We ran the last one off so fast that Dad had to take 2 days off work, and that better not happen again. Dad will hit the roof." Lucy thought for a minute and then shouted, "Okay, everyone, freeze. She's about to be here. Can you please, please, please pull out your best manners, put away your pranks, and remember why we need someone to help Dad?" Gabe, Reese, and Bob mumbled something under the breaths, to which Lucy replied, "Please?" At that moment, the doorbell rang. It usually sounded like a bluebird singing. Today, it sounded more like a hawk screaming at them to answer the door. As she opened the door, Lucy noticed a remarkable sense of order and calm came over all her siblings. And as this happened, she saw a small, stooped woman with a wide smile and a hat that appeared to be sparkling. Number 4. What does the sentence, "Today it sounded more like a hawk screaming at them to answer the door," about Lucy? A. She was very nervous about this woman coming to their house. B. She was excited for this woman to come to their house. C. She was fearful of the woman who was coming to their house. D. She was sad that this woman was coming to their house. Number 5. Why were Lucy and her siblings calm when they opened the door? A. The stooped woman commanded respect and order. B. The stooped woman gave the appearance she wouldn't last long like the other housekeeper. C. The stooped woman gave a sense of peace and order. D. The stooped woman gave the impression she didn't like children. Number 6. What does the reader learn about Lucy from this passage? A. Lucy loves her dad. B. Lucy doesn't like her siblings. C. Lucy will be successful in life. D. Lucy and her dad are very close. Read the following passage and answer questions 7 through 10. The difficult journey. The wagon train departed bright and early this morning. I was disappointed that I had to tell my friends goodbye, but I had chosen to remain here in Denver. By that point, we had already been traveling for several long months. I was sorry to leave St. Louis, but I heard there was gold in California. It was June when we first left St. Louis, and it was October when we got to Denver. I had made the difficult decision that I would not be continuing onward with the rest of the families on the wagon train. When we left St. Louis, we were extremely excited because we were planning on traveling all the way to the ocean. We could journey to California, but that was not to be for my family. Almost immediately, we stumbled upon the first major problem of our trip. Our very first day on the road, a wheel flew right off of our wagon. The wheel was badly cracked, which meant we were unable to repair the damage ourselves. Since we were not terribly far from St. Louis at that point, John rode all the way back there on his horse. He returned to the wagon train with a brand new wheel. However, that took nearly an entire day while the other families waited. After that, we struggled with yet another problem. There was an awful rainstorm, and with it came so much mud that the oxen pulling our wagons were unable to get the wagons moving again. We had to wait for the rain to stop completely and for the mud to dry before we could continue onward. Because of this, we lost an additional 2 days. We were unbelievably exhausted, and it had been a mere 2 weeks, but we kept on traveling. Unfortunately, we then had to stop once more because the Brown family fell ill. We waited a few days for them to recover, but they eventually gave up and turned back. Every single day we faced very difficult work, but we still persevered. Nevertheless, by the time we arrived in Denver, it was just too much to handle. We had decided that we were going to leave the wagon train. That night, we informed the wagon master of our plans. The wagon master asked us to change our minds and told us, "We've overcome the worst now." However, I knew our trip would certainly not be getting any easier. The mountains we had just crossed were only the beginning. It had already been such hard work to get where we were now, and I knew it would be even more difficult to reach the ocean in California. That is when we decided the best option was to remain here in Denver. Today, I have gone off to hunt for a new job. There are several jobs in the mines, and I hope to fill one of the positions. Then we will be able to get our own home. I am extremely thankful that living in a tent besides the covered wagon is over. Instead, we will have a permanent place where we can live. Although I will greatly miss my friends, I will not miss all the troubles and hardships we endured. I wrote a letter to a friend I made on this trip. I wanted him to know we are doing well, although I miss him. Number 7. Why did the Brown family ultimately quit the wagon train and turn back? A. The parents were concerned for the children's health. B. They got sick and almost died, then decided to turn back. C. The family received a letter that one of the parents died. D. The trip was too difficult for them in many ways. Number 8. Which sentence leads the reader to understand the conflict is coming to an end? A. The wagon train departed bright and early this morning, sentence 1. B. After that, we struggled with yet another problem, sentence 1 of paragraph 4. C. That is when we decided the best option was to remain here in Denver, last sentence, paragraph 6. D. Today, I have gone off to hunt for a new job, sentence 1 of paragraph 7. Number 9. What can the reader conclude about the narrator and his or her family from the passage? A. He or she was physically and mentally tough, but intelligent. B. He or she was physically and mentally weak and a quitter. C. He or she was well liked and highly valued by the wagon train master. D, he or she was a very good friend of the Browns. Number 10. Which sentence best helps the reader make the conclusion they did about the narrator and his family from question 9? A, we then had to stop once more because the Brown family fell ill. B, nevertheless, by the time we arrived in Denver, it was just too much to handle. C, it had already been such hard work to get where we were now, and I knew would be even more difficult to reach the ocean in California. Or D, every single day we faced very difficult work, but we still persevered.